Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's TechX. Let's get started then. We all are aware that debugging is one of the essential part while developing any website. With the right tools in hand, we'll be able to recognize and repair any problems on our Drupal site as soon as possible. Now, different programming languages can use different techniques that help you debug. Today, I'd like to share one such technique that can help you troubleshoot your PHP more efficiently, and that is using XDebug. Uh, so we'll be covering what exactly is XDebug and how can we set up XDebug on our Lando and also DDEV local setup with VS Code IDE. We'll also see how to use XDebug and work your way through the PHP code. So, like, what all traditional methods we generally use that to help you debug? So one such function is print function. Then we mostly use dump functions, var dump function, and sometimes we also make use of logger functions that are shipped with the dblog module. If you need to know, if you want to debug any variable, if you need to know the contents, we use these kind of functions. They are helpful, yes, but they are not enough. Like, they can sometimes slow down your development time. But what other options do we have apart from these? Enter XDebug. So XDebug is a standard debugger in PHP, one of the powerful debugging tool, and it provides you with detailed information about the code execution, including the stack traces and variable values. Basically, it helps you to observe the call stack of a function. And you can also review the contents of any variable at any point during the execution. So it has features like breakpoints. With that, it allows us developers to pause at certain points to inspect the state of the application. So yeah, by XDebug, like, it provides you a feature called step debugging. So a way to step through your code in your editor while you're running your program. Then it provides improvements to the PHP's error reporting, like some of the helper functions like dump, PHP helper functions like dump, and also it provides an improved version and also helps you um, stack traces of notices, errors, and all the exceptions that you might encounter, and tracing. So it writes every function call. So what are the functions that are being called while loading a page, you'll get to know. So it will provide an exact function call, what are the functions that have been called, what arguments have been passed, what value a variable holds, all the details. It gives you all these details. Our main agenda for today is to set set up this XDebug using our favorite IDE, that is VS Code. And once we have our VS Code, the first thing we need is extension. So we need to look for PHP debug extension and then install it. So we have our IDE, we have our extension ready in our IDE, and assuming we have our Drupal local setup running on Lando. Now all we need to is to set up the XDebug. First of all, by default, Lando doesn't provide you XDebug. So for that, what you need to do is find your Lando.yml file, where generally you add your custom services, right? So find that Lando.yml file, and in the under the config section, add an key called xdebug true. One is that, and or what you can do is under the services, under your PHP app server, add xdebug equal to true. So either that or this, and then you need to rebuild your site. So do a Lando rebuild. Now what this does is, whenever you start your Lando, right, whenever you start your project, so automatically it will load XDebug into the environment. So it will be enabled all the time. Now, in terms of performance perspective, even better option is to toggle this feature. That is, we don't need XDebug all the time, right? Only when necessary, let's run XDebug or like Lando XDebug on maybe a command, and then let's enable XDebug. When we don't need it, we let's disable it. So we can also toggle this feature by creating a custom command. As in, instead, what like I mentioned earlier, we had set XDebug as true, right? Instead, set it as false. So by default, we do not need this XDebug. Next thing, so set it as false, and then under the services, set the mode as debug and develop mode. And under the tooling section is where we define our custom Lando commands. So like I mentioned, let's create a command called xdebug on, where I enable the xdebug. And under the command section, this is where we certain commands are run to enable the xdebug and reload your server. Similarly, xdebug off, which is meant to disable this xdebug. And we do not need to worry. This entire snippet is already available on the official Lando site. You can just copy those contents and then adjust it into your configuration file. So once you update your Lando .yml file, all you need to follow it up by running Lando rebuild. So what this will do is, once your site is rebuilt, or whenever you start your Lando, xdebug will not be xdebug commands will be created. Okay, and whenever you need it, you can enable it using xdebug Lando on command, and whenever you want to disable it, just use xdebug off command. So yeah, next thing what we need is the browser extension. So on your Chrome, you can just look for xdebug helper extension and then install it. Install it on your browser. And okay, now we have so like I mentioned previously, on our VS Code, we have installed a PHP debug extension, right? Now for that, to understand that, okay, I have to listen for xdebug now. In that case, what you need to do is create a launch.json file within your workspace of your project, and then update the JSON file with this contents, where I define the port as you see 9003. So a recent version of xdebug, xdebug 3 uses this port, and then you need to update it with the path, your Lando environment path. Okay. So this contains, again, you can find it on the Lando website. So yeah, you can just take it from there and then adjust it into your file. And once you have all these things ready, all you need to do is choose listen for xdebug, and then ensure this is selected, and then go to from the menus, choose click on run, and then start debugging. These things need to be everything needs to be set before you refresh your page. Ensure you add the breakpoints. So wherever you need, wherever you're doubtful, okay, these are the points I need to understand. Okay, here to understand the state of the code, or you want to know what is the data the variable holds, set the breakpoints at the relevant lines on your editor, and then go to your browser, refresh the page that you're trying to debug, and automatically you will be redirected back to your editor, and then it will stop at the breakpoints that you have set. So that's how you set up xdebug on your Lando site. So let me demo these steps we just discussed for you. So I have a simple site set up using Lando here. Okay. So as you can see, there are no Lando xdebug commands here. Okay. So for that, I'll need to create one. Okay, this is my workspace now. And ideally, initially, you won't have these. Like I mentioned, this is my simple setup. I don't have any custom services that I've installed. Simple plain Drupal 10 site. Now, like I mentioned during my presentation, that I need to add this snippet into my lander.yml file where I define XDebug as false initially. And then I add this tooling here, XDebug on and XDebug off. Okay. Once this is saved, I need to do a rebuild. Okay, so this might take a while. Until then, let's do other things. Okay. I mentioned about the extension, Chrome extension. So it's this this is the one. Okay. And once you have installed this extension, just go to the options section, and then here you'll find this ID key, right? From this, choose other and set VS Code as your ID and save it. Okay. That's all you need to do, and then pin it into your browser. Okay. So we have our extension ready in our browser, and rebuild is running. And next is, okay, I mentioned about updating your lander, adding a file called launch .json file within .ps code folder. So initially we don't have it. So before that, let's go to extensions and PHP debug. So this is the one I was talking about. Install it. Once you install it, you'll get a tab like this, run and debug. Here I can just click on create a launch.json file. So this will automatically create a file for me and choose PHP, and that's it. So we have the file now. Now I mentioned under listen for XDebug, I need to update these contents. Okay, these things look good. Port is there, type is there. I need to set my Lando path now. For that, I need to copy like I mentioned, you'll find the contents here. Just you need to copy the missing part, which is this. We do that. Okay. So this is the path. So this is set. Okay, it's ready now. Let me see if I have the commands. Okay, as you can see, I have the commands ready. Now all I need to do is, so I've set up the path as well. Okay, this is where you have to observe. So here is where I'll see all the breakpoints that I've set. Now let's set a breakpoint at, okay, so I've just chosen index.php file. So let me set breakpoints at these. Okay, I'll skip one here. Let me skip. Okay, I'm interested in this lines now. So add the breakpoints wherever you need, and you can see all the breakpoints listed out here. If you don't want, just unselect or select it. Okay, and ensure listen for debug is there here. And before we run, let's enable XDebug. On. Okay, it's on now. And let me go to run and start debugging. Okay. Go to your browser, go to the page that you want to, debug. And in the extension, just click on debug. Okay. Let's refresh now. Okay, as you see, the control came back to your IDE. Now I can actually see what auto loader holds. Initially, you will see it's all none of them are initialized. Now, if I just click on, so these are the controls that you are given with. So this is like I can move to the next breakpoints, and this is like a step over. So I can just go to each line with this control, and then it's step into. So basically, I can go into the function that is there, and I can see what values it holds, and I can just come out of that function and then proceed with my next breakpoint. So let me just click on continue. So it will take me to the next line, and then notice here your autoloader will have some value. As you see, some value, you'll notice some value. Okay, and you can just click on if I click on the first continue, it will take me to next breakpoint. Instead, I want to go to line number 18 where I've not set the breakpoint. So I'll just step over. So it will take me to next line and next line. Now, if I want to go to the last, directly go to my next breakpoint that I've set, I'll just go to that and then I'm done. Once all the breakpoints it has covered, it will just complete the execution, and then your page will get loaded. So this I just showed you for one file. Now you can set when you are when you have a complex code, right? You can have breakpoints at multiple places. So wherever you think there might be a problem, you can just set breakpoints at those points and then analyze the code. Okay. So I have a simple controller. Let me try for that. So it's a simple /test page, and I am listing out all the nodes that it has in the table form. Now, if you see, there is a loop here, and I am interested to know what under each iteration what value it holds. So let me just set few breakpoints and go to the page that I want to debug. So it was /test, right? So let me load it. So this is index.php will be executed every time. Okay, now we are here. From there, you have come back here. As you see, none of them are initialized, only node, the first line. So I can see what entity, what are the node IDs, every detail here. And then I can loop through this for each as well. So under each iteration, what NID has. So it's 1. So next, this is second iteration. So it's 2, 3. Now I can see what $rows hold. So until then, your page will not be loaded. Okay. So once all the breakpoints are executed, you'll have the page. So this is my page. Yeah. So let me, and last one, we'll just stop this debugging. So I can just stop it once I'm done and then switch it off. Okay. So that was a simple demonstration. And okay, so that we just discussed for a local setup using Lando. Now I'd like to share, now if you have any local setup using DDEV, what all things you need. And the good thing with DDEV is it provides XDebug out of the box. So with Lando, we just saw that I had to add custom I had to create custom commands and then to a rebuild and all that, right? So with DDEV, there is no additional services, no rebuild, no browser extension, also no drama. So nothing. It already has XDebug, and all I need to do is just toggle it. If I need it, just enable it using XDebug on, and then if I don't need it, just disable it with the commands that is already there. And next thing is, yeah, it needs, since we're using ID, VS Code ID, we'll have to update our launch.json file. And then the same old procedure, just click on listen to Xdebug and then start debugging. So this is how my launch.json looks, and everything looks the same as before, just the path will change here. Okay. So this path is nothing but your DDEV path. So with Lando, we just saw it was slash uh, app. So with DDEV, it's a different one. Okay. Let me just stop this. Okay. I have a DDEV setup. If it'll work. Just starting my DDEV container now. Till then, let's open my project that is using DDEV workspace. So yes, again, a simple site. So I have my PHP debug extension for VS Code. Now let's create a launch.json file. So just like before we have this, I need to update the path and few content. So you'll find these details. I just need to copy it. So yeah, this is the path. If you are still confused, you can just do DDEV SSH and you'll see this is the path that it's using. So that is what it's set here. Similarly with Lando, you can try that. So yeah, my DDEV is ready now. Let me So this is a simple Drupal 10 site. Okay. Now what I need to do is set the breakpoints. So I have set the breakpoints at the same in the same file index.php, and let me enable XDebug now. So it's enabled, and like I said, I don't need to add anything here. It's already there. So I just need to enable it. So I have the breakpoints ready and just click on start debugging. So you will see all the breakpoints that you have set, and you can just observe the variables. Call stack is where you get all the function calls trace. So what all functions that have been executed, you'll have a complete history over here. Okay. Now let me refresh and see you're back to your debugger, and you can just debug, analyze this. And as all the lines are executed, your page will be loaded. Okay. So this is, I think you're kind of familiar with the browser debugger, right? That you use to debug JS while loading. If you want to debug your JS code, you use the developer tools that is shipped with the browser. So this is exactly similar to that, where you set breakpoints and analyze and then find what is the problem and then fix it. Yeah. So that is the use of XDebug. Yeah, that's all I had for today. Thank you. Any questions?
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I had an amazing time learning all the new things here at Specbee's TechX. And if you did too, do let us know in the comments below. Keep following Specbee for the latest trends in technology. See you in the next one.